Before we get into this video, if you don't already have an established aquarium, these two products are a must-have. Too many times I see people in pet stores, they buy a fish and they buy an aquarium at the same time. Guys, you can't do that unless you have an already established system. So like I've got a tank here, 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 here. This is the one that I'm setting up now. So I could have sped the process up by taking half of this water to here, some of here, some of here, and then I could probably put fish straight into this tank. Now, I'm not going to use a biological booster. I don't have to do that because I took the sponge filters out of this tank, which you guys will see in the video. Also, prime, you have to use a water conditioner of some sort. This right here removes the ammonia, nitrates, nitrites, the chlorine. So this will make your tap water safe. Guys, if you're not doing a biological booster in that first, you're wasting your time. You really have to do this. This is a critical step. Every single time it seems like I go into PetSmart or Petco, I see somebody buying an aquarium. They buy the aquarium, they have a bag of rocks and several fish, and the worst part is most of the time it's like, they'll have a 5-gallon aquarium and, like 3 cichlids or something like that. Guys, that's not going to work. You got to do a lot of research on these fish to see what is going to live, and how they're going to live comfortably. Like, let's say I've got a 20-gallon right here. All I have in that one is a couple of babies and some snails, because I know that anything that I like in particular is not going to live in there. I like cichlids. You can see this, and believe it or not, these two tanks are linked, and they're almost overcrowded. I would say I've probably got close to 40 fish in here, even though between both tanks is about 80 gallons. 55 plus 40 with a bridge. They cross over, they can come and go as they please. Even though this water is crystal clear, the parameters are perfect, just because of aggression, and these fish will get large. It's already overpopulated. So we are going to have to take some of these, like the Savani cichlids, and put them in the other tank. Now, I do have some fry growing out down here that'll go to a cousin. But these are things that you have to think about. That's like, I see people all the time buying Oscars, and that's the worst. I love Oscars. That's what got me started in the hobby. But whenever I was 13, probably 12 or 13, I bought an Oscar from Walmart and a tank. It was a 5-gallon tank, and I killed that poor fish after like 6 months. It was horrible. Now, I'm 33 years old now, and I know what I'm doing. But guys, even just thinking back to that time, if you don't know what you're doing, you got to do some research. Thankfully, now we have YouTube, and we can do research on that. Your 5 gallons are going to be more suited for your guppies, your platies, stuff like that. Maybe a goldfish. But back in the day, I didn't know, and I was learning. And now we've got some beautiful setups. Some self-sustaining setups. I have no ammonia problems. I have nothing. So, all right, guys, let's see how I set this aquarium up. Of course, we always enjoy a good cold beer while we do it. This tank is already getting acclimated. I've got a heater in there getting that temperature up. So, yeah, let's see how we do it. Hey, guys, welcome back to Merit Aquatics. It is a blistering 110 degrees in my sunroom slash fish room. I don't know what else to call it, but we're working on this room. This is where our fish are, and we got an incredible deal today at Petco. They have their glass tanks super cheap. We got a 60-gallon breeder for next to nothing. So what I'm going to do is run 2 air filters in there. I'm going to take the air filters out of this one I'm probably going to rob some of that water just to help get the cycle started. Of course, you guys already know we've got 100 gallon plus 10, a 55, a 40, a 20, a 40 wide, which I have my mollies, guppies, and stuff in. So I'm not sure what I want to do with this tank yet. I thought about putting nambumas or mambumas in them, African cichlids, or I might just actually rob some of my Sylvania cichlids out of here and put them over here, just to some of the babies that I've actually raised into this tank, because I don't want this setup to get overcrowded, and just go ahead and split them up some. So I'm actually going to get this tank filled, get it cycled, get some prime in it, and let it do its thing for a couple hours. And I don't ever wait a long time. I don't have to, because I've got filters that are cycled. I've got plenty enough water I can rob from, so I'll probably like pull maybe 20 gallons out of here, put it in there, 10 out of this one. This is what I do, guys. I've been keeping fish for 15 years, and I have literally set up a tank, waited 6 hours and put fish in it, and some of these fish are still alive today after many, many years. So it's very hot in this room, so we don't have to run a lot of heaters right now. I do have a biker in here. He is going to be caught and put in this tank. That is one thing that will go in here. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get this thing filled up, get some filtration going. The sand that I used is pool filter sand. So my local pool place had pool filter sand for, I think it's like it was $15 for 15 pounds, which is pretty damn cheap. This stuff is clean too. So I can put water straight in here and it won't be, nasty. I'm going to take the bubble filtration out of this tank because it does not need it with all the plants and everything. It doesn't need all the heavy filtration. Those are two 70-gallon filters, or air filters, or sponge filters. So that'll work perfect for this tank. And I'm just going to leave the one hang on the back. Eventually this one will be planted as well, like this one is. And probably some of these roots, or bushes and stuff, will transfer to this tank. That's why they're here. So I figured I'll do some African stuff here. I've got my mollies and guppies and platies down there. So let's do it. All right, so I've already put prime in the water. Our water here is actually really good. Very low chlorine content. It is city water, but we live out in the country. They pull the water from a local river, and it's actually really, really clean. All of my testing that I've done over the years, it's turned out really good. I don't even believe that I'll have to run a heater in here until winter. I mean, this room literally, probably right now, it's probably about 110 to 120 degrees. It is like a sunroom. Never mind the mess. We're actually painting the house right now. I like to keep these on the floor. I just think it just kind of looks good. I just sit down here and kind of watch them. There's some of our other tank. The reason I put these side by side, one is for the plants. Two is the ability to put a bridge here where I can let the fish swim from tank to tank. So we got a 60, 40, it's 100, right? Yeah, 100 or 90? 100. So we could do a 100-gallon setup if we wanted to. This one right here is a large setup. I really like these breeder tanks. I love these wide tanks. I think I like them better than the tall tanks. We're gonna get this thing filled up. Go ahead and get those air pumps moved over here. Like I said, we don't need all the filtration because we got the plants, but I was really just letting them cycle. So, yeah. These guys right here are doing great. This tank's probably over filtered as well. I'm probably going to cut back to just one air stone and just this pump, or either cut this pump off and just let the air stones run, or the sponge filters run. Sorry, my apologies. But yeah, especially once these plants get established and everything's good. I've been doing this for a long time and it works. You can see how crystal clear this water is. And I don't do any water changes. The water evaporates in here so fast. I probably lose 3 to 4 gallons a day through evaporation, and every day I'm replenishing. So not worried about water changes. I've never had a loss. Not in the last year. I haven't had a single fish loss other than just bullying. Look at that boy. So, yeah. It's definitely a good hobby for sure. All right, so right now we've got this tank filled up. We took the filters out of this one, just put them right here. Of course, I added prime to there, and I was going to rob some water from the tanks, but I didn't want to deal with that today. I got a heater in there just for now, just to kind of jump the temperature up to get it to the same temperature of this room. Of course, I could let this sit for a day and it would be the same temperature. I'm just hanging a light right here. We get a lot of, we normally get a lot of sun in here. It just depends on the time of day. But, you know, all in all, I like the more natural look. I did rob some of the plants from that tank. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go out in the yard and we're going to get some rock. And I'm going to show you guys how I clean the rock. I've been doing this for a long time. I'll pick up all these rocks around my house. I take some hydrogen peroxide and I boil them. And it just gets all that nasty stuff off there. Then I let them rinse for a while. It'll be great. So I just take my little bucket from Publix, from the deli. And then all around my house, where we bought the house, we got some like really neat rocks out here that the previous owner left. We all kind of neat stuff. But I know that in the past I have sprayed chemicals out here. That's 6 or 7 months ago. But we will boil all this off with the hydrogen peroxide. I'll show you. So there's all kind of corals in here too, which is kind of neat. Some fossil-y stuff. I know why they done this, to protect the bottom of the house, so I don't want to rob too much of it. But I do got some more over there on the fence line. Excuse the mess. It's been really hot. We haven't really had time to clean this place up. It's wicked hot. So from the previous owners, we got these like little makeshift flower beds everywhere. This is why I've been mainly robbing my rock, because for one, it makes it a pain in the butt to mow the grass. So the more I can take and put into a fish tank, the better we have at mowing the grass. Now that rock is sourced, what we want to do is open up our bottles of hydrogen peroxide. Right now I got 3 full bottles, and I'm going to dump this in here. I'm going to get these dumped, and then I'm going to show you guys what it does. Like, it'll boil all that junk off of them rocks, and it cleans them. It'll remove all the parasites. It'll remove anything bad that could go into your aquarium. This is highly advised. And then you just rinse them off. What I normally do is I'll rinse them off. I'll put some prime in the water, let them sit for about 30 minutes, and then they're good to go. Check this out. So this is 1 minute. 1 minute after pouring it in. You know, that water was super clear. Look at it now. It's boiling off all the nasty stuff. So we'll give this 30 minutes, and then we should be good to go. So we're going to start our process of fish capture while our rocks are cleaning. And it's going to be a lot easier to catch these fish out of this tank that has bare minimum and this tank that's fully loaded, and I don't want to destroy this tank. So we do have a large male here and a large female. I thought about separating them and spread, you know, kind of spreading out the gene pool a little bit, because there has, I think, in the past been some line breeding. My cousin owned all these convicts before me, and they bred and bred and bred and bred. And I actually bought some convicts to mix in with his convicts. Of course, he still has convicts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get all these ones with the black spots or Sabanis. I want to try to get as many of those over here as I can. So I'm going to do a feeding on this side. Hopefully that'll get them to swim over. These are like my prized fish. I've got 2 Sabanis over there that are about 8 inches long. Beautiful fish. Absolutely beautiful. I think the Sabanis are some of the most beautiful fish, but they're highly aggressive. That's the problem. When I do a feeding, I try to do just minimal. You know, I just want to feed them what they eat and nothing more. You can see these guys. All these little ones are ones that came out of this aquarium. They were bred here and born here. Like I said, mom and dad are in there. So I do want to try to capture some of these, get them over there. I've been told that they will crossbreed with the convicts. I think in the big 60-gallon breeder, we might can get something to happen. I'm not sure yet. I know we're not going to have much breeding in this tank right now, these two setups with all these fish in here. It just puts too much pressure and stress on the fish, so that's why we got to get them separated. I even thought about putting the male, the big convict male and female down here with their own pots. So I breed fish using these. I got a feeling if I was to put them down there for about 3 weeks, I'm sure that I could get them to spawn because there would be nothing to bother them. But I'm going to wait on that right now because I have enough fish. All right, so take a look at our rocks right now. The water's still bubbling, but not a lot. We've pretty much reached the climax of the boil. So what I'm going to do now is just let this water hose run now 20 minutes. I know it seems like a waste of water, but we're in a drought. Well, I shouldn't say a drought, but a little bit of a dry season. So it's going to do nothing but help my yard out. And, you know, you can see that stuff cleaning off my concrete too, actually. So we're going to flush these rocks out. Then we'll be ready to put them in the tank. And it's been a couple of hours. I'm going to check the temperatures. We could possibly transport some fish over there and get them in their new home. I know the water's safe. I know everything's good. The only thing is there's probably about a 10 degree temperature differential right now. That's why I've got the heater on max setting to get that up. Once we get the same temperatures, water will be good. I mean, it's the same as what's in everything else. So let's let these flush. All right, 30 minutes later, our water is clear. These rocks are safe for the aquarium. What I like to do is I'll let them soak just a little bit with some prime. I'm about empty, but I'll just take the little bit of residue that's left in there and I'll let these rocks sit for another 10, 15 minutes. And that just helps kill off anything else. And then they're ready for the fish tank. All right, guys, whenever I say I set up an aquarium, I set up an aquarium. Now, not everybody has the ability to put their aquariums on a porch or a place that gets natural light. But I'm a big proprietor, and I personally like adding natural light to my aquariums. That's just me, but not everybody has that ability, and that is fine. But whenever I set up one, what I call like a natural tank that's planted and has plants and vegetation, this is how I do it. Now, you can take these steps that I have, you know, kind of laid out here, and you know, you can do your own thing. The main thing is don't rush it. You know, if you're going to set up a 5, 10, 20 gallon tank, do the bio start. Give it some time. Don't rush it. The main thing is go through the bacterial cycle first. Give it a week. You know, you don't have to rush this process. I've seen some really nice 10, 20, and 5 gallon aquariums, but you have to get your bacterial load set up first. Use your bacteria start, or either use a filter from another aquarium. I don't like using gravel substrate. I typically only like sand. Now, if I do gravel like this one, I've got gravel and sand. I like sand. I've had the best luck out of sand. Don't buy rocks. Go somewhere and pick up rocks. Pick them up, clean them up, put them in your fish tank. I said in this video that I would put fish in here, but we're not quite ready for the temperature is just not quite ready yet. So we'll do that in another video. We'll put fish in this tank. We're not going to rush it because all of our fish are happy and they're healthy, and we want to keep it that way. So if you're a newcomer to the aquarium world, guys, patience is key. Now, if you want to rush the process, This is a little secret that I've done in the past. Let's say, well, for example, I bought a 120 gallon tank one time. It's been about 8 years ago. And I wanted to get the cycle boosted. Get this. I actually bought 3 goldfish because they're nasty. They poop a lot. They create a lot of waste. And I put those 3 goldfish in that aquarium, and I let them live in there for about 4 weeks. And and they're hard to, I hate to say they're hard to kill, but they're hard to kill. I mean, they're great hardy fish. But that's what got my bacteria cycle started. I've been using that same bacteria strain to keep all of these aquariums alive. Now, those goldfish have since grown up, got huge, and they're actually in a pond over at my brother's, which I'll do a video of here soon when it's not really hot outside. But I actually built a pond for them, and it's a pretty large pond. So that same strain that I set up all them years ago is what keeps these clean today. So guys, welcome to Merit Aquatics. Thank you for watching. If this helps you out, give me a thumbs up, like the video. I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. I mean, this stuff is easy. You just got to do a couple of steps. You know, if you're not already set up, you know, with aquariums and stuff like that, I would advise get some biological booster and just let it do its thing. Or you can also put a fish in there, like a goldfish or something like that, something hardy, and let it create the living biome that it needs to survive. But guys, thank you again. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.